A sentencing day packed with tension. The stakes are set at thousands in restitution, a lost career, and a community betrayal. From the moment her lawyer begins, the courtroom is weighing remorse against responsibility, with every word tilting her future.
This is case number 2413528FA versus Lucinda Marie Burmeister. Ms. Burmeister is here for sentencing. Prosecution and defense was the pre-sentence investigation report that Tanya made available to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor, it was. Thank you.
Mr. Beard, you had the opportunity to read the report and discuss it with Ms. Burmeister.
I did, Your Honor.
Do you have any additions, corrections, or challenges?
The other charges were not something that she used for her own, or it was for the Little League program. I think they're requesting $3,572.18 for about $1,300 off.
All right, anything else that you want the court to consider?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I would ask, this is kind of a very difficult time for Lucinda. She's lost the job, obviously, that she had with the credit union.
Her defense paints a picture of hardship, job loss, and a vow never to return to court. But the shadow of a $3,500 debt hangs heavy, and the judge will need more than apologies to decide her fate.
She started out with good intentions of, just repaying this money when she got her loan out of her 401k. However, it was like a check kiting thing. She understands now that she couldn't do it. She shouldn't have done it. She's maintained employment at other places. Okay, so right now she's waiting for another job through a temp agency, and I imagine she'll be employed soon. She's also in school, online college that she needs to attend in order to keep her funding. And I just don't think we're going to see her back. She's very remorseful, and I would ask the court for leniency.
All right, and Ms. Burmeister, have you had the opportunity to read the report and discuss it with Mr. Greer?
Yeah.
Do you have any additions, corrections, or challenges?
When she takes the stand, her voice wavers, admitting mistakes, pleading for mercy, and framing herself as a mother trying to rebuild. The question is, will her sincerity sway the court or sound like damage control?
No, I would just like to add that I am very sorry. I did not intend to harm anyone. Sorry, I have 2 young boys, and I'd like to show them what it means to take the consequences and show them that you can come back from it. And I would love the opportunity to be able to continue my school. I have an academic scholarship, and to keep it, I need to maintain my GPA. And I'm hoping that, I did not know those charges went to the Little League account. It was an absolute mistake, and I absolutely should have been paying closer attention to it. As soon as I got the police report, I repeated it. I even audited it myself, and I found more charges and paid it. And that's what we compared with what the prosecutor had given us to what I had repaid. And I would just hope that there's mercy. I don't want out of the consequences. I know they need to be paid.
The judge flips the script with a brutal hypothetical. What if someone stole from you? It's a test of her moral compass, and her answer could reveal if she truly understands the weight of her crime.
All right. If someone got a hold of your checking account and wrote themselves a check for $8,500, you'd want them to go to jail, wouldn't you?
I'd want them to pay it back.
You would want them to go to jail?
It would depend on the situation. I try to act with as much grace as I possibly could. I would, of course, be upset, and I wouldn't want them to have access to it ever again.
They took your credit card and charged a bunch of stuff on your credit card.
So I believe in my faith, and it's not my job to judge. I do know that I would expect it back 100%, and I would expect them to work it off if they couldn't pay me back right away. And I would expect them to learn from it.
So what sort of things would you consider if you were the judge and whether to impose jail time or not? This hypothetical person broke into or took your checkbook and took your credit card and spent your money. What sort of things would you be looking at?
Pressed again, she weighs intent, repayment, and second chances. But the judge seems unconvinced. In cases like this, perception often outweighs explanation.
I would look at if they paid it back, if they only paid it back because they got caught, or if their intent was to have already paid it back. I would look at their life, and were they using it frivolously, or was it a one-time something that they learned? I would look at, are there other options where they could benefit the community other than jail time that might still allow some consequence, because I do believe that there's consequence. I'd see what potentially they've already had to pay, and I lost my 15-year career, and that's no small feat. And I know it's going to take me 5 to 10 years to rebuild anything like that ever again.
So does your husband work?
Yeah, he does.
Where does he work?
He does auto insurance claims for freaking move insurance.
Okay, probably makes a pretty good living.
He's pretty decent, yeah.
So probably between the two of you, your household income was probably over $100,000 a year.
It was about 100,000.
So going back to this hypothetical person that got your credit card and your checkbook, you'd probably be extra mad if they were making $100,000 a year and still stealing from you, right?
It shouldn't matter necessarily how much that they made, just that they are showing remorse and paying it back. And my expenses might be different than somebody that makes 20,000, because we both work. I had to pay paid anywhere between $1,400 to $1,600 a month in just daycare bills for my children. We've made different arrangements now because we realized that at this point in time, stretching ourselves too thin like that was not a smart decision, even though we were trying to do what was best for our kids to provide them opportunities through preschool and education. And luckily we were able to take part of building bridges, which didn't have a tuition associated with it. So my son was able to transition from a paid daycare, and my older son went back to school. We've been very blessed to have people that are willing to help us with some childcare, so that I can continue to work. And my husband has gotten some approval from work to be able to partially watch the kids at home now. So we've eliminated that extra expense that caused. We don't live frivolously. We took our first vacation, the two of us, in 10 years together. We have paid off cars. I don't go around buying a bunch of frivolous things. We pay off bills, we pay our mortgage, car insurance. I mean, my grocery bill went from $600 a month to like $1,200 a month with the inflation. It wasn't trying to be careless or just take so that we could live more frivolously. And I just want that known.
And Ms. Robinson, any additions, corrections, or challenges?
I know, Your Honor.
Anything that you want the court to consider?
Your Honor, I would just,
The prosecution strikes hard, pointing out past charges and reading a victim statement. This isn't just about money. It's about a betrayal of a children's league and the trust of an entire community.
point out to the court that while the retail fraud in 2018 was dismissed, it was through the bracket program, so it was not dismissed prior to any sort of resolution or like it was a mistake. I think that is important for the court to know. I also know that we have met with the victims on this case, spoken to them, but it is a board. I have a letter I can read, but first with the court, I'm not sure if the board has changed hands or anything in the past month. I know how those boards go, but I would like an opportunity to see if there's any victim here that wanted to speak outside of the letter that I received.
Anybody here from Fremont Little League that wants to address the court? Start out with, what's your names?
Brooke Bradshaw.
All right. And what's your position in Fremont Little League?
I am the new treasurer for Fremont.
Okay. All right. What do you want the court to consist?
I just want to say that this was an incredible breach of trust. We have put a lot of man hours into having to correct all of the things that she had in her name, regarding passwords to certain accounts, things that she had responsibilities for. She didn't just harm the board themselves, but it was a community that trusted the board. It was children that, trusted the board. Me personally, and I don't know if the court, honestly, I don't believe that this was an accident. I do believe she totally intended to do it. I do not believe that she paid it back because she wanted to, but I do believe she paid it back because she got caught. I don't think she intended to pay it back until she got caught. If I were to be completely honest.
A board member takes the mic, her voice steady but cutting. She accuses the defendant of intentional theft, saying repayment only came because she got caught. In this moment, the emotional temperature spikes.
I do believe that this is the type of thing that deserves to have justice, because if somebody can get away with stealing from a nonprofit organization that's aimed to children, what's to stop anybody from doing it in the future?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then Ms. Robinson, you had a letter that you wanted to read?
Yes, Your Honor, this is a letter that was written on behalf of the entire board. It's written on December 3rd of 2024, to whom it may concern. On behalf of the Fremont Little League Board, I am submitting a statement to outline the impact of the defendant's actions involving the inappropriate use of funds entrusted to our organization. As a board, we are responsible for ensuring the integrity and financial stewardship of the resources that support our league, and it is with great concern that we address the harm caused by these actions. The defendant, a former member of our board, was entrusted with significant responsibilities, including the management of funds necessary to operate our programs. These funds directly supported the activities that allow our league to provide children in our community with opportunities to participate in sports, learn life skills, and build strong relationships with their peers. The misappropriation of these funds has caused a direct financial loss to the league, impacting our ability to provide these opportunities. As a result, some of the essential programs and services that we have offered in the past may no longer be possible without a substantial recovery of the misused funds. The children, coaches, families, and volunteers who rely on our organization for recreation, growth, and teamwork have been affected by this breach of trust. Moreover, the emotional toll on our league has been profound. The members of our board and the many volunteers who dedicate their time to the success of the Little League feel personally betrayed by the defendant's actions. The trust that is fundamental to our community has been damaged, and rebuilding it will take time and concerted effort. As an organization, we strive to model the values of honesty, responsibility, and fairness for the children in our care. The actions of the defendant have undermined these values and sent a damaging message to those who look up to us as leaders. We have worked hard to create a safe and supportive environment for our athletes and their families, and the defendant's conduct has unfortunately threatened the spirit of collaboration and community we have built over the years. We ask that the court consider the full scope of the harm caused by this breach of trust and take appropriate action to ensure that such behavior is not tolerated in the future.
The official letter is devastating, spelling out lost programs, damaged trust, and the harm to kids who depended on the league. The courtroom shifts. This is no longer a personal dispute, but a public wound.
Urge the court to consider how this misuse of funds impacts not just the financial standing of the league, but the morale of those who continue to serve it, from board members to volunteers to families. We appreciate the court's attention to this matter and trust justice will be served to hold the defendant accountable for her actions. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Fremont Little League Executive Board. Your Honor, I think that was said very well. Having been involved in youth sports, it is a thankless job. The volunteers pour countless time and money and energy into that. And especially in an area like Newaygo County, those funds are essential for providing things like scholarships to kids that can't afford to play, equipment that can be taken for granted. I know in other areas where expensive club teams are an option, this is the place that families go, either when their kids aren't as athletically skilled, or they just want to have fun, or if they can't afford anything else. And this has a direct impact on that.
The prosecution backs the board's plea for justice, calling for a sentence that sends a message. With restitution disputes unresolved, even the numbers are a battleground.
I would ask the court to take that into consideration along with the words that were read by me on behalf of the board and spoken on behalf of one of the board representatives here today. I believe that the sentence that the court had indicated previously would be appropriate. And unfortunately, it sounds like we are going to have to ask for a restitution hearing because there is about a $1,300 difference in the amount that the board indicates they are out and the defendant has indicated that she will take responsibility for. So we would ask that the court set that restitution hearing at a time that is convenient for Your Honor. Thank you.
Your Honor, if I may.
Yes.
Thank you.
Her lawyer urges her to pay the full amount to avoid dragging it out, framing her as deeply remorseful and willing to serve time, but pushing for weekends in jail to save her schooling.
Through all of this, we're like within $1,300. Okay, and I would tell my client, just pay the $1,300, add to it. We'll have to owe them that. I do have the check in my trust account, which I can give to the clerk tomorrow or whatever, so that they're really only out $1,300. And so I understand that's a lot of money, but you know, I think that my client, what she has put herself through after these charges came is, I don't think I've ever seen her in my office with a dry eye. I mean, she's just horribly remorseful for this and she feels terrible about it. And, you know, like she said, she's here to take her time. I would only ask that if the court does put her in jail, that perhaps it could be on weekends so she doesn't have to lose her schooling. That's important to her, and she would still be able to do the time, Your Honor.
All right, so Ms. Burmeister, what's an education coordinator for credit union? What did you do in that position?
When new colleagues were hired, I trained them how to do their job, how to use like the computer system. And if somebody got promotions and their roles changed, I would do that, and I would coordinate like the annual Christmas party or any additional trainings that people attended off-site, like if any flights booked and that kind of thing.
Okay, all right.
The judge weighs her request, 20 days straight or 30 on weekends. In a rare compromise, he chooses weekends, allowing her to keep working and parenting while still facing consequence.
Would you rather do 20 days jail straight or 30 days on the weekends?
Weekends, I'd like to be with my children and keep my college going.
Okay.
The sentence is set. 30 days served on weekends, full restitution within 90 days, no probation. It's a balance between punishment and practicality, but the damage to her reputation may last far longer.
All right, the court recognizes that the advisory guidelines would suggest a sentence between 0 and 90 days. Courts can exercise my discretion to sentence consistent with the advisory guidelines, consistent with the plea agreement in this case, and consistent with the COBS agreement in this case. Give the sentence of the court that this defendant served 30 days in the Nuevo County Jail. We'll give him credit for the 1 day that she's served so far. The court will allow her to serve that time on the weekends. So she'll go to jail at 7:30 p.m. on Fridays. And she can be released Sunday at 7:30. That can start this weekend and continue until she's got her time in.
Your Honor, is that Sunday, is that 7:30 p.m.?
Yeah.
Very good.
And so it sounds like we've got an agreement as to the restitution, $3,572.18 with the immediate payment of the $2,093 with the balance to be paid how soon? How much time on the other roughly?
Could she have, since right now, she's still with this placement agency, can she have 90 days?
Okay, 90 days to pay
Thank you, Your Honor.
balance. There is
And
a,
I'll get the check to Jane today. Thank you.
there's a $68 state cost assessment, $130 crime victims' rights fund fee. Normally, I would put her on probation, but they recently changed the rules as to probation. They're giving this test or evaluation, and I can't put somebody on probation if they doesn't show that they need any services. So it's going to be a no probation situation here. So you do have the right to make application for leave to appeal your conviction and sentence. If you cannot afford an attorney, the court appointed attorney to represent you on the appeal. Request for lawyer must be filed in court within 42 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. She just had to be here at 7:30.
This case was a clash of personal redemption against public trust, and the court made sure both were addressed. 30 days behind bars, every weekend a reminder, and a ticking clock on restitution. If this breakdown kept you hooked, hit like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe for more real courtroom drama.